Got two episodes coming up tonight. The one we're about to get into, for class of 2027 athlete Xavier Smith. Just waiting for him to get ready. I think he's ready, but just waiting for him to be available. So that should be coming up shortly. But in the meantime, let you guys know I'll be talking with someone else tonight at 6:30, right after this interview. Good dude, Brent Williams, former NFL player. He runs next gen football camps all across the nation. I've been hanging with them, running with them probably a good, I think 5 or 6 years now. I've lost track, but I met him about 10 years ago. But that's another story for another time. So this shouldn't take too long as far as Xavier. Looks like he's right in the room. So just wait a minute or two or three. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm not going to make this dead space. I know some of you guys probably heard about the Teddy Bridgewater saga incident. Long story short, he got suspended for more or less, talking about the money he's provided as far as coming out of his pockets to, make sure some of his players have something to eat, have a ride to practice, things of that nature. He made mention to that on, I think it was on Facebook, off of Facebook post. And long story short, it looks like he's been suspended um, for this upcoming season. And personally, I get that rules are rules, but quite honestly, he's probably dealing with a lot of underprivileged kids for the most part. And he's probably not the only coach in the United States dealing with, underprivileged kids. And those special situations. I'm pretty sure he's not the only one that's had to come out of his pockets to provide, food, um, and other things, to help an athlete. And I don't think somebody should get penalized for, helping kids out. I mean, if it was something malicious, that'd be something different. But it don't sound like it was anything malicious. So, but if you're gonna start doing that to coaches, then I mean, it might not be too many people coaching, especially in urban cities. So that's my take on it. And I get it, the rules are the rules, but some rules is dumb or dumb. So anyway, just give me about a moment. Xavier, can you hear me?
Yeah, here, let me get set up here. I was
Okay.
having. Can you hear me fine, or is my audio good?
No, it's perfect.
All right.
Yeah, the headphones make a difference. I've done, I think, four of the interviews, and three of them, if I think I forgot to tell them, I'm gonna use headphones, so they
Oh
couldn't tell
yeah,
that it was a bad coming.
yeah. It
So
definitely makes
I
a
appreciate it.
difference.
Absolutely. So whenever you're ready, we can get started, my man.
I'm ready when you are.
All right. And I already did like a pre-interview, but I'm gonna redo it now. Hold on for a second. So everybody, once again, this is Ed O'Brien, and this is the We Run the State podcast tonight. I have a special guest. My man is a class of 2027 athlete out of Pennsylvania, Xavier Smith. He's someone I'm very familiar with. He's been at a good number of my camps, and probably more impressively, he's been at camps that aren't mine, where I've gone to scout, and he's out there getting his work in. So, Xavier, thank you very much for coming up to the platform.
I mean, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a good opportunity. I'm glad I can talk.
Absolutely, and part of this platform, my goal as far as what I do is ultimately to try to help athletes and shine a spotlight on them. And so, kids such as yourself that I know for a fact are hard workers. It's like, what? Why not give kids that don't have the offers and notoriety and things of that nature, at least at this time, a chance to talk
Yes,
about
sir.
themselves. And, you've impressed me on a number of occasions. I've
Hmm.
seen you go from one thing to another, and I know it's more work to do, but um, first and foremost, last year you were at Palmyra High School here in Central PA,
Hmm.
and during the off season, you moved out to Western PA. So for the audience, if you don't mind, talk about what high school you're at now, and if you don't mind, talk about how the transition to a new school and a new area obviously has been for you, both in the classroom and on the football field.
I'd say the transition to a new school for me, it's really kind of not been much of an issue. I'm still on honor roll and I'm still locked in on the field, but I'm just with a new team. But it's a new system, but it's the same work ethic and same drive as it would be back at Palmyra. But back at Hempfield, the intensity's higher, so it's just something to prove, and I just got to produce.
And and you mentioned intensity. What differences have you noticed in the football culture? In this case, not really not just between your new school and your old school, but just the area in general between like Central PA and Western PA. Because I've traveled a little bit, and I've always said Western PA football, they kind of take it a
Mhm.
little bit more serious. I won't say seriously, but it's more to it as far as
Yeah, definitely.
and nothing wrong with Central PA football. I don't want nobody getting on my case. But what I'm saying is Western PA football is just a little bit different. Talk about that a little bit.
No, so I mean, I would definitely agree with you there. I mean, coming from the middle of the state, I would say everything was always more speed and finesse driven. Where moving out here recently, like I've had to work on being more power driven, and instead of coming at you speed and finesse, I need to come at you with power and a little bit more punchy in the face kind of energy. So that's probably the main big difference. And I feel like Western PA definitely has football culture, and a lot of the schools out here are famous for producing high NFL talent. So it's just the culture is different.
All right, and how have your new team? I'm sorry, how have your new teammates and coaches welcomed you into the program?
Well, my new teammates and coaches, I'd say they welcome me into the program kind of in I don't want to say they handed anything to me. They definitely made me work and earn everything. But I definitely respect that. Once I got there, the coaches set out the plan for me, and once my teammates saw it was serious, they accepted me and they brought me in. And I kind of feel like we're building something special now. So,
All right, now I know last season for Palmyra, you played on the edge.
mhm.
Have they told what have they told you as far as their plans for you? Um, how you'll fit into their defensive scheme this upcoming season?
Well, as far as where I'm at on the ball, I'm just there to be a game changer, whether I'm playing at edge or linebackers. So I'm just bringing energy and leadership to the team and a bunch of violence every snap. So I know for the future that I could definitely look into being molded into playing more nickel, but I know as of right now, I'll definitely be coming off the edge and being used as whatever my coaches need me as.
All right, and have you had adjust your style of play or approach based on the new coaching staff's expectations?
Yeah, I've definitely had to level up my style of play for sure because my new D line coach is Coach Alpudi and he trained Aaron Donald, so the standard's
Uh,
pretty high. And we just actually wrapped up a week of workouts with Josh Turner from the Patriots. So honestly, it's been a great change, and it's just all about playing fast and thinking fast and nonstop communication on the field. And I'm just looking to be more physical and also be under control and just have high football IQ when I'm out there on the field.
all right, and knowing a little bit about you, you seem to handle a lot of things calmly, but I do have to ask, what has the been what? what has been the biggest challenge, or what have been some of the biggest challenges about transferring in regards to transferring to a new school, and how have you handled, that challenge or those challenges?
For biggest challenge, I mean, I would just say earning respect again. It's just starting all over the place. Like you're a new guy coming in. Nobody knows if you're going to stick around or not. So I definitely had to earn respect again, and I'd say I did that by doing more, just more reps, more film, and just staying coachable. But I mean, I'm just getting started with my new team, and I'm just ready for what's to come next.
All right, so we'll switch lanes for a second here. After the end of last season, what were some of your goals heading into this upcoming season? In other words, what are some things that you wanted to work on, after the season started, and what, in regards to that, what things that you think you've gotten better at or you've improved on
Uh,
since the end of?
So since the end of last season, I've been in the lab before. I mean, I even left. I was in the lab with Jawan working on my speed, and I actually wanted to talk about that since coming back over to the Whippeal. My new trainer Rocco, we've been developing and training my speed. He has a bunch of new technology there, so I'd say the biggest thing that I've been working on has been working on 40 and my acceleration. Not just my acceleration, but being able to stop and start quickly. And recently, when I was at a camp, a coach told me that I have a high motor. I just need to learn to control it. So this off season, I've been learning how to use my speed and how to control it for the most part.
Speaking of coaches, my next question. Let's get into recruiting a little bit. What are some of the prospect camps that you attended so far this off season?
This off season, I've actually been to five, but two of my biggest camps I've been to have been WVU and Yale, just because at WVU that was definitely my most dominant showing.
Okay.
Um, but at Yale, I was definitely pushed more mentally, just because they were just throwing different concepts at me. Just because their nickels are kind of more like they're more DB oriented, but I mean, every single camp I went to was a business trip, and it was just taken seriously. And every single coach I talked to, I was just making sure I was trying to get on their radar. But that's yeah, that's all I can say about my prospect camps.
All right. And what type of feedback have you received from colleges as far as one, how they see you as a prospect position wise, and um, what things you may have to do or show on film this upcoming season to, get on their board or raise a couple spots on their board?
So because I'm at the edge, they definitely want to see me being aggressive because they know that going into college, I'm most likely not going to be playing edge. I'm more of a linebacker or nickel type. But coaches, they told me that they could definitely tell that I know how to read plays and that I've been studying a bunch of college film. Um, but they want to see on my film, they want to see speed and that I know how to. I'm trying to figure out how they worded it. That I'm able to pick apart defenders before the play even happens. So like pre snap reads on the defense is huge. Being able to tell what the offense is going to do before they even do it. If a coach is able to recognize that you're able to do that on the film, knowing where you're at position wise on the field, and that you can take over a game just from one spot on the field, that's what coaches are always looking for. So that's what I'm looking to do on my film this year for sure.
So at these prospect camps, have you what's the word? Participated as an edge and a linebacker, or either or?
So all five of the camps I went to, I've just been participating as a linebacker. But recently at Yale, for the top five, they grabbed the three best linebackers, and they actually asked if any of us could edge rush. And my hand shot up, of course. So I actually hopped up, and I think I was the only edge who won. But I was going to right up field, and then he overset it hard, and I came right back in and crashed into the quarterback. So that was actually neat because I liked showing the coaches that wasn't just a linebacker, that I'm an athlete. I can do stuff off the edge too.
And in regards to that, I mean, how has that adjustment been? You're coming off the edge all last season. What did you have to work on or improve on to be able to transition to one, playing linebacker at camps, and then actually have to cover running backs? or tight ends. And I've seen you at some camps, and I've seen you have to go up against some pretty fast running backs, and I think you
Absolutely.
more than held your own. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I feel like my biggest thing was learning how to read hips and keying on a defender's, or not a defender, on the offensive play man's hips. So I definitely struggled a bit, and I can even confess, like, I struggled at your camp in the beginning because I love coming to your camps because regardless if I know what I'm doing or not, I'm learning and I'm grinding. So picking up
Right.
how to read hips of defenders at all these different camps was huge, and learning how to have proper footwork and not waste my movement. That was my biggest thing. Is I was pretty sloppy in my movements, but now I'm pretty fluent with my footwork. I learned a bunch of different coverage techniques at West Virginia as well. I worked with their coach Castile. He helped me with a bunch of technique, but
Okay.
that was my biggest thing was reading hips and keying the man. Um, and then I would even say as a linebacker, run coverage wise, because it's way different than coming off the edge. I worked on giving one way, two way goes. So as a linebacker, if you're square up a guy on a guy and he has two ways to go, that's too many options. That's not you got to close it off. So if he cuts back into you, you win that rep. But he's in the sideline, so that's probably definitely one of the biggest things I worked on transition to linebacker from edge.
All right, just a couple more questions, but I have to bring this up because two of my favorite people, Coach Jamie and Juwan, Coach Chiz. Um, I know they've helped you. I know they trained you,
Hmm.
helped you as not only as a athlete, but I'm pretty sure as a person as well.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind, can you talk about how they help mold you into the player you are? And granted, I know I've been other people too, but talking about those people two people in general, how they've helped you mold you as a player up to this point.
So I would actually say it all started with Jamie. That's really I was coming out of I want to say my eighth grade year, and I just started getting in work with him. Um, and that's really where it all started and where I started grinding it. Then I remember talking with Jamie one day that I just need to get faster. And then it was funny enough that I was at one of your camps. I was doing some edge stuff. I was tearing it up that day. I remember it. Then we ran into Jawan after my dad was already having a conversation with him, and
Mhm.
that was just great. This is when we started out in his garage, and I mean Jamie was great because we worked at the barn and at the road, and Jamie was versatile. We could work anywhere, but Jamie really molded me in my work ethic and just showing up whether I feel like it or not and just getting in the work. And he was so heavy on technique, and that's really where I learned how to be technical and focus on, oh, it's not just fast, it's you need to be precise with it. But Jawan, I mean, once I got in with Jawan, that's when everything really started to pick up for sure. We started in his garage, and I remember over the summer, I had a little bit of workout supplies at my house, and we were like, you know what, we're always with you. We're just gonna give this away, and that was really the start of something. And I'm so glad that I was able to build that bond. And I mean, even now, like I definitely need to come down for a Saturday recovery if I can catch it up. Just because there's not really recovery out here in the Whitfield. We're just all go go
Right.
go.
Understood.
Yeah, definitely molded me into the man I am today and showed me how to work and just grind.
All right. And what are you most excited as far as the upcoming season goes to show fans and recruiters at your new school this year?
What am I most excited to show fans and recruiters this year? So, I mean, I just want to show them a complete player. I'm smart, I'm physical, and I'm consistent, but I bring energy every play, and I just want to show that I can make everyone around me better. But this year's not about potential; it's about being in production, and it's about producing as a team. So that's my goal.
All right, X Man, I truly appreciate having you on here.
Absolutely.
And I remember you coming to my camp as an eighth grader, Jamie. Jamie will ask, Coach Jamie will ask, can I bring this eighth grader in? I'm like, I said if he could compete, if he can compete, if he wants to compete, I'll let an eighth grader in. And you came in and competed, and you've always come to my camps competing. Um, ask for handouts. You've earned any top performer, you know, you know, you know, honor that you've received. But for the most part, the biggest thing is that I've seen you continue to get better, and I know that you're going to continue to get better. So, I wish you the best of luck.
Yes, sir.
Um, this upcoming season, and just keep working hard. And at some point, there's all it takes is one, and there's definitely
Absolutely.
going to be at least one college that looks at you. But just want to tell you to stay positive and keep up the good work. And of course, I'll be watching from up here in Harrisburg. So
Yes, sir. I
keep
appreciate
representing.
it. Thanks for the opportunity.
No problem at all. Hope you have a blessed evening. Tell your dad I said.
I will. Stay
All
blessed.
right,
Good
thanks,
night.
man. Yes, sir. Have a good one.